Hey guys, what's going on? I'm going to show you how to take the carbs off and clean them on a Sea Doo SPX. This is also the same for like a SPI or kind of this model. The GTI and GTX are way simpler, but yeah, so to get started, you will need some special tools, I guess, to actually rebuild the carbs. So I'll put a clip in of what you need now and links and everything like that. And yeah. Okay, so how I got to basically this point is you just take the lid off. It just has these little sliding clips on this side. Just pop this off, not hard. And then when it comes to this, there's going to be the screen, and this is kind of going to be in here. And just pop that out with a screwdriver kind of on the edge. This is just kind of like your air filter, but it's not, kind of. But on top of that is this. There's going to be six 6mm bolts on top. Just undo those. This will come off, this will come off, and then you have the screen. And then I believe attached to this is this plate right here. Again, 4 6mm bolts. Unscrew them, and you have the plate. I also took this out as well, so just in case you see more space. And then to get these off, there's 3 bolts. Again, 6mm Allen heads. But here, let me change the camera here. So you do have to, sorry, someone was driving by. Disconnect the fuel lines. So there's one there. There's the 2. You don't have to disconnect those. I just did. There's one right here. And there's another one right here that goes there. And so you want to disconnect your cables next. So when you undo this, you would notice it's attached to something, obviously, right here. This is the choke cable. So to get this out, you just get a, I think this is like a, let me get back to you, on a 2mm or something head. And you just unscrew this hex. You just back this screw out, and it'll basically just let you pull this rod through and get this rod out, and then you can kind of take this off, and yeah, then I'll show you the next step. Okay, so I took this off the little black thing, the what do you call it? I don't know, the air filter holder. Basically, I just unslipped it out. I put that in the ultrasonic cleaner. You don't have to, but it's just on by this. There's just a nut right there. But yeah, anyways, so to get these out, it's not as easy as the GTX or GTI, where there's just bolts here, and you just, you can't get to these. Some people will basically take their 13s, so they'll take a 13 and heat it up and then bend it at like almost a 90-degree angle and get in there. I don't know. That seems like a lot of work versus there's just 4 bolts holding this in, which is the oil pump. One, and then 2 directly under these, and these are 13s. So we're basically just gonna pop this whole thing off, and then put the carbs up here, and then you can get a wrench and undo the carbs and everything like that. Also, you get to check your oil pump. It should be aligned a certain way, and I'll show you how to do that. But the ones in the bottom, the best way I found was I basically got my fancy 1/4-inch ratchet extended with a flex head, and I just put a extension with a 13 socket, and you can just kind of slip it right under there, and just, that's how I got it. The top ones, just use like a regular wrench or something like that. So yeah, we'll get this off and pull this up, and I'll show you the next step. Okay, so we got it out. It's kind of what it looks like right there. So this is the oil pump, and these are the timing marks I was talking about. This one's pretty spot on. Maybe it can be a little lower, but it's pretty much, I'll adjust that, but those lines are supposed to pretty much match up, and that's the whole oil pump system right here. Looks like this was leaking. You can kind of see it. So anyways, next thing you want to do is kind of disconnect this if you can, but I did that in the ski. I feel like it's easier. But now we're going to disconnect this, which is the oil injection pump line for the carbs. So you basically just take a 10, back this out, then back this out, and you don't have to take it out of this bracket. You just undo 2 Phillips screws, and then just leave the bracket here, and then we'll get to these bolts. Also, just a quick note, this is actually how you adjust this line as well. So as you back out, you'll see it kind of release the tension on this. So if your line was perfect, you could always just take a picture or count the number of threads that were here. But again, it's pretty easy to line it back up. Okay, so we got the carbs out. Pretty simple, like I said. You just kind of put your wrench in here. Let me see, where it is. In here, and break the bolt. And so you basically want to do, the bolt will get stuck here, so you can't do it all the way out, but just lift the carb up and keep unthreading, and do that on all 4 sides, and it should come out. So now we're going to actually go into the rebuild process. First of all, a lot of people say this. I've only used Mikuni and don't have problems. They do not come with this gasket though, unfortunately. So buy that separate. That's the only thing I don't like about these, but they are really expensive. But they're really good quality, and these are Mikuni carbs, so they're really sensitive to stuff like that. Like that came up here. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, we're gonna open this side, which is this is like the actual like main one. This is like the sub one, so it's a little bit easier, less parts. So we're gonna take all the parts off, kind of, and put in the ultrasonic cleaner that I have. I recommend you get one too. You can get one on eBay, Harbor Freight, wherever. Comes in useful, especially with carbs. It'll really clean all the crevices, and especially in these with the gray lines. If you don't know what those are, say you just got one or you're looking into getting one, if they have gray fuel lines, that's basically a no-go. The fuel lines will deteriorate, and see this green like slime? That's the fuel line, like the inner fuel line, like liner. It deteriorates from the gas because it's just the material they used back in the 90s just wasn't good. So always redo your fuel lines. And yeah, this is really bad. Look at that. This thing is super just, wow. That's really bad. So this is an explanation, an example of a carb in really bad shape. So we're gonna probably have to dunk this once or twice, but yeah, so there's this side, and this actually has a little filter, believe it or not. Needle nose. There is a filter that the fuel lines go through, but these carbs also have these mini filters, and I mean, yeah, that's just atrocious. So yeah, that one's gonna be really good to look at. So let's put this back real quick, and I'm gonna flip it over. Let's see the pop-off side. This is actually the side where the jets are as well. So got the pop-off side done. It's just these, and then this little diaphragm, and this is kind of what it looks like. Super corroded and nasty. And then when you take these two screw outs, the jets, the main jet and the pilot jet, are under this plate. And then this is the float system. If you're from quads and dirt bikes, this is the float system. But instead of using a float, it uses pressure, like PSI. So that's why you need that special pump tool, because this will let fuel in at a certain PSI, and it kind of how you tune the ski as well. So here's the inside of that. The main jet's right there, and the pilot's right there. You just take that off, and there's also a little gasket in there you have to replace. And then I took the float needle out, and the or the needle, I guess you could say, in the seat, and then the little spring and everything like that. I pretty much just get it to this point, and then I just drop it in my ultrasonic cleaner. So let's take apart the other one now. Also, I forgot to mention the screws. So there's a high-speed screw, the low-speed screw, and then the idle. I always take those out as well, and I dump those in too, because we get new O-rings in the kit, so. Okay, so we got this off. The first layer is pretty. Have your film, this gasket, which I guess this is just stuck on here. That usually happens though, so I just get a Dremel with a like a coarse sandpaper. You'll see, not a Dremel, you can use a Dremel too though, angle grinder. You'll see, I'll show you how to get this off, but I also put this in the ultrasonic cleaner just to kind of loosen it up, but that usually happens. And then there's an O-ring. Get my pick here. Oh yeah, look at that. It's like, it's pretty crazy to be honest. And then this has these little oh, that was stuck too. These little plastic things here you replace, these little plastic flaps. So I just push those out pretty much with like this. You just kind of, you don't want to really use the pointy part, you don't want to put a hole in it, but all the time you can just, and then again it comes with new little plastic things there, but that's pretty bad in there. That's really dirty. And then this has the diaphragm right here. I'm trying to zoom in on it for you there. My pick. So just kind of pay attention how it comes apart, I guess, with the gasket wise, because Mikuni does give you extra gaskets in this kit because it's meant for like a bunch of different jet ski carbs. So you don't use everything, but you know, you don't need to add extra gaskets. I'll kind of mess it up. So just pay attention to like the order, I guess you could say. And this gasket, which isn't too bad. And then let's look at this filter. This one's pretty bad. I wouldn't say it's bad as the other one, but it's pretty bad. You could kind of see it in there. So yeah, pretty bad. Throw that over there. Yeah, and then there's some really yellow gas. But this one, same thing. Again, this is just the different side, kind of, just because it has this extra plate. But now we're gonna do the pop off and check out the jets and pilot on this one. Okay, so this one was kind of dirty. I mean, you could see the buildup up there. It wasn't as bad as the other one. Also, I forgot to mention on the back of these, you have this little, it's again like a plastic, kind of like these. You can just take this off. The Mikuni has a replacement, so take it off before you clean. Just unscrew this and just anyways, so yeah, and then we gotta take these screws out, the low speed, the high speed, and then this one doesn't have a idler screw that's on the other carb, so we'll take those out next, and then take this out. I just grab pliers and just pull it, and then dunk all that in the ultrasonic cleaner. So after they're done out of the ultrasonic cleaner, just spray brake cleaner and air through all the holes. Just make sure they're all clear and free of debris, everything like that. So building these are pretty easy. I think people overcomplicate them. The Mikuni does come with a guide here, so we'll take a look at that real quick. This is correct. These are the same for all of them, needle jet, whatever. Now these are different. So like I said, there's a lot of parts you don't need in these kits. You just need to use some. So if you have like a Sea Doo carb, most of the time you're going to use this one. I believe this is for Kawasaki, or Yamaha or something like that, not Sea Doo. But this is Sea Doo. So instead of using this paper gasket, you use the O-ring, the diaphragm, use that for both. Then this goes on top with the O-ring, and as you can see, like not used on BM34. So anywhere there's an O-ring, you don't need a thing. So like say with this, you might be like, oh, to O-ring then that, then the bladder. No, since there's an O-ring, you don't need this little paper filter. The bladder goes on top, that O-ring, no paper filter, plastic, then the paper filter, then that. Again, just pay attention to how you take it off. It's not super hard. I mean, just, again, especially if you like label it out, you'll be fine. So obviously I put the O-ring on and the little new fuel filter. I like to have a cap of oil right there, and just oil them all up, you know, just so it gets a nice seat. And same with the bladder. I just put like a little bit on it. You don't want to soak it. So when it comes to the bladder, they do give you two, but it does matter. They're different. So this one is different. So I'll show you the other one. So see, they're two different shapes, these. And obviously this shape matches this, not this. So you can just throw that away, keep it if you want. It's not for Sea Doos though. So O-ring, filter, let's place the bladder on. Just kind of fit nice. There you go. Make sure all the holes are good. Next is this. We are going to replace the little clear, you know, the little clear paper things. I forget what they're called. There's a special name for them. So I'll show you how to do that right now. Okay, so I already did it, but the way you do it is, it says on the back of the instructions, if you flip it over, how to do it. So with these, the side that's actually marked with the line goes up. It goes away from the metal. And the side that's not is down. It's kind of hard to tell, but also with these grommets, I just used the ones that were in it before. The new ones, you need this special little tool. I don't have it. So I just put the old ones in, and it should be fine. As long as they seat good, you're fine. So after that, just this. And put that on and there. Okay, again, since you have the O-ring, you do not need to use this paper filter. The plastic one, this one just goes immediately on top. So let me actually get this out though. There's just, sorry, there's like red hair from the rag I used to clean it. Okay, so pretty much just make sure all the holes are aligned. So just kind of like this. As you can see, they're all lined up. Next, you actually get the paper filter that they give you, like, I think 4 inch, this one. And that goes over the plastic. Again, just make sure the holes are lined up, super hard. And then this goes, make sure it's nice and clean. Again, this is the best I could do. Take a flathead if you can't use an angle grinder with like a little sander thing on it. Not a big deal. I guess the easier way would just be like this. Just put them both on here. And then just right on here. And get your screws. I gotta get the other screws. I'll put all 4 in, even though 2 hold a bracket, because for the test, you're gonna need all 4, pretty much. Okay, so it's pretty easy. When you get the top end, I guess, it's supposed to look like this. I already assembled this. Just make sure you change this. I don't know if I said that before, this little clear tab there. The Mikuni kit comes with a new one. When it comes to jetting, just look up a chart. I mean, this one ran fine before, so these jets are fine. This is a SPX. This is a 125. I think it's like a 50, I think. It's hard to see the pilot, but I put these in the ultrasonic cleaner as well, just so it cleans them out. When it comes to the high speed and low speed screw, I already did this one. So this is the low speed screw right here. On this particular carb, again, these are the SPX carbs. I think it's a 94. This is the high speed screw. So the high speed screw always goes all the way in usually, and then the low speed screw, just depending on what you have, is usually like a turn to a turn and a quarter out. And then this one does have the idler screw, which goes here. Again, just count it. You're supposed to do it based off like RPMs in this book I have. I'll show you. But you do need a digital tachometer, like I mentioned at the beginning for that. So here's the chart. You can screenshot it, whatever. this is the low speed screw. So whatever you have, GTS, GTI, that's pretty much what it is. Again, you could always adjust it if it's like too sluggish or something like that. And then idle wise, here's that chart. So again, you just get a photo tachometer from Harbor Freight, just take a picture, and that's what it should be. So when it comes to the spring and the needle, a lot of these are 1.5 needle size and seat. Now, say if it ran fine, or eventually, or say if you don't even know anything about it, I would just use the stock one, and then we're gonna do a couple tests to see. But when it comes to the spring, always use the stock spring, especially if it ran fine and you're just doing a carb clean or whatever it may be. Just use the stock one, because at the end of the day, these springs don't wear out, and a lot of times, say if I get this identical spring, it won't be the same pop off sometimes. I know it's weird, but that's just how it works. So I'm gonna put this back together and then show you how to do the pop off test and everything like that. Okay, so you get your special pump here. So you only want to do this leak down test on this one. You want to put it on this inlet on the very bottom. This one, not these two. And then pump it up to 10. Or, it's a little more than 10. And then count to 30 seconds, a minute, and it should not drop. It should just stay stable. Now, if it drops, you have a leak somewhere in here. So just get soap and water and spray, whatever. But again, for 30 seconds, a minute, it should just hold 10 PSI, and that's how you know the carb itself is airtight. And then after that, I'll show you the pop off. Okay, so want to get your plug set, and what I do is I get these black plugs right here, the little triangles, and then the red cap, and I put the black in there first, and then the red cap on top. A lot of times it'll get stuck in the red cap and you just kind of have to use them together, but that makes it way more airtight, because when I put the red cap on, I was having trouble where you get over around like 35 PSI, sometimes it'll leak. So even sometimes these might leak, so you have to zip tie here, but you could kind of tell. So before you actually do the pop-off pressure test, you want to put your pressure in the inlet, not the outlet, so just block the outlet off. So we're going to put this on the inlet. It's going to slide on. And now put it up to 10 PSI. And again, for 30 seconds, a minute, it should not drop below 10 PSI. If it does, then you have a leak in your needle seat or the needle. Something's leaking in here. So it's pretty much needle seat, needle, maybe you didn't tighten this down enough, something like that. So as you can see, it's still at 10. So just count to 30. If it's a 10, it's good. And then after that, I'll show you actually how to do the pop-off settings. Okay, now that you did that, it's not leaking, get some WD-40. And pretty much what you want to do, especially if you want to get an actual pop-off kind of fill, lift the needle up and kind of spray some in there and fill this little pocket. Just make sure the needle gets some. Spray a little extra in there. And then I'll give you the chart here. Here's the pop-off according to whatever you have. So SPX is 40 to 56, same as the GTI. Just, again, totally different. What? It's just based off how lean you want to run it, or rich, whatever. So we're gonna see what this pop off is, and to adjust it, you basically just change the spring out pretty much. If you want it tougher, you get little spring kits and just change them out. Just pump it up. So that's at 30. So you have to do it 3 times to get a consistent reading. So every time you do it, if you, again, want the pop, just spray it in there. So I think that was like 30 something, 32, around there. Yeah, it's about 32. So that's a little, for the SPX rich it's running. So we're gonna try and put maybe a stiffer spring or something in there to stiffen it up and get it to maybe around 40 instead of around 32. So you basically just take this out, change the spring out. Mikuni comes with 2 springs. You could try those. Again, I'd recommend buying a spring kit with like the black spring, the gold spring, stuff like that. Yeah. So after this, you just kind of want to put the diaphragm on, just kind of like this, and then just bolt or put your screws back in for the top and install it pretty much the way you came out. And I'll film that. Just make sure the O-ring is good on the oil pump housing. So when you're putting the carbs back on, kind of just lift it up and then put, you know, get the washer and the nut on, just kind of thread it loosely on each side and you should be good. I also use copper spray for the gasket for the carburetor. That stuff works really good on these paper gaskets, so you can use it, you don't have to. That's just what I do. And then tighten these down as much as you can, pretty much, I would say. Just don't, you know, snap the stud off. Okay, so we got everything on here. Now's a good time to put your that on, and your throttle cable, and also your oil pump. The way you adjust is basically just screw the screw in, and you'll see this kind of have tension and rise, and just get that mark just parallel. That's it. And then tighten the nut on the end, and that's pretty much it. And you want to put your throttle on. I already put this on the choke. Just remember it's the little nut on the end. And then after we put the throttle on, we are going to bolt it back onto the motor. Put a new O-ring, bolt it back onto the motor. And then, yeah, it's pretty simple from there. So I'll show you kind of the final result. And how to drain all the air out of the fuel lines, because you will need to do that every time you take them off, so there's no air in the system. All right, guys, sorry, I completely forgot to film the outro and the draining of the lines, but I'll pretty much tell you what to do. So this is just a different carb for a different set. Anyways, so you want to put the line, you want to find the line that goes on the inlet, right, from the ski. So it's going to be the one that goes on like the bottom right, closest to the gas tank, kind of. You can kind of see. And then you want to get either one of these, which is like an extractor, or one of the ones you pump. And you want to put it onto the line, and you want to either pull this or, you know, pump it with the suction until you see gas coming out. And that's pretty much how you get the air out of the gas lines for carbs. It's super, super simple. And then bolt them back in. You don't need Loctite or no special I don't know the torque specs, but it doesn't really matter too much. So just bolt them back up and you'll be ready to go. Have any questions, always feel free to comment. I'll get back to you as soon as I can, usually within a day. And yeah, thanks for watching.